Yo, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Devin Vassell wasn't lying, because the San Antonio Spurs are playing some great basketball. And that might seem like a reason for concern to some, because, well, that 7'5" Frenchman that can do pretty much everything on a basketball court. But when you understand why and how the Spurs are winning, well, that concern fades away pretty quickly. And you don't have to look any further than the Spurs' two leading scorers and a pair of players 23 and younger who are averaging 20 points a game. And we may as well start with the guy I just mentioned off the top, Devin Vassell. The leap is here, and it's even more beautiful than I expected, because not only is Vassell showing off the shot creation he showed off last year, but on bigger volume, he's also been a major part of the Spurs leading the NBA in assists, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But Vassell is really showing off his playmaking ability, like on this play where he runs a pick and roll. But what I really like about this play in particular is it looks like he's initially trying to get to his spot for the jumper, but with D'Lo digging in, he readjusts and draws Rudy away before slipping the pass into Poeltl. Or how about this fantastic read where the defense collapses on him so he makes a pinpoint outside of the hand pass to Keldon. It's very early in the season, but to have doubled his assists per game from last year, whilst still being a player who doesn't turn the ball over much at all, is extremely promising. And speaking to his lack of turnovers, a lot of that just comes from the efficiency in which he plays. Vassell is a guy that is going to come off screens and take one or two dribbles before getting to his spot. And it's the intensity he does it with that allows him to always get off high quality shots without having to hit the defense with 100 different dribble combinations. Yes, you can score the ball without being a ball stopper. And this is what I want to focus on with the Spurs, because what they are doing as a collective is pretty special. Ignore the wins. But when DeJounte Murray was traded, a lot of people wondered where the playmaking, where the ball movement, where the shot creation would come from. Well, this is the definition of every single player stepping up to fill the void. Because like I said, through 6 games, the Spurs are leading the NBA in assists. They're also doing this whilst having a great assist to turnover ratio, and the only point guard playing minutes is Trey Jones. A team whose only point guard is Trey Jones, no disrespect, is leading the NBA in assists and isn't turning over the ball a ton. And just look across the board, the Spurs have 7 players averaging 3 assists or more. Well, they did have 7 if you include Primo, who I'll talk about a little bit later. And by the way, this video was planned before that news, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But even outside of Primo, you have the likes of Jeremy Sohan getting 5 assists in a game, something he only managed once in his 30 games of college basketball. And it's easy to see why they're leading the league in assists when you watch plays like this, where Poeltl drops it into the cutting Jones, who then dishes it back out top to Vassell, and Devin waits just until the defender has committed before kicking it out to Keldon for the easy 3. Or on this play where again, it's just smart decision making. Poeltl hands it off to Keldon, and the defense immediately collapses on him, so he kicks it out to Richardson, who kicks it out to Sohan, who knocks down the 3. But in saying all of this about the ball movement, and how impressive it is that a young team with only one real point guard is leading the league in assists, should we really be surprised? Because he might be 90 years old, but Greg Popovich still knows how to coach a damn good basketball team. And he also knows how to develop rookies. Because yeah, that rookie the Spurs drafted, this is going to be a shock to so many people, but the San Antonio Spurs have made a good draft pick. Yes, who would have thought the Spurs would have drafted well? And although his box score numbers don't catch the eyes like the Bancheros, the Mathrons, the Ivies of the world, there aren't many other rookies that are making plays like this. Or how about on this play where he's guarding one of the most explosive players in the league and manages to stay in front of him before forcing a miss. It's only early, but everything you would have hoped to see from Sohan is there. Defensively, he's shown the versatility to guard multiple positions, and offensively, he's run the floor really well and also been able to make the right passes within the offense, contributing to the Spurs ball movement as a whole. Actually, just scrap that, because I'm not doing his passing justice by saying that, because just watch some of the excellent reads he's already made, just like on this play where he takes DeRozan off the dribble and then makes a nice shovel pass to Poeltl, or in this play where he breaks down the defense and kicks it out to Richardson for 3. When you factor in the playmaking glimpses along with the signs of a jump shot that he's shown the last couple of games, there's reason to believe Sochan can be a solid to good offensive player, and well, defensively, the sky is the limit. Let me make this very clear. Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochan, and Keldon Johnson are the building blocks of a very, very nice young core. Now, if they can get an elite player in this year's draft, well, let's just say there's a reason Pop hasn't retired just yet. But with that being said, before I talk about Keldon and a few other important pieces of this team, should we quickly just address the tanking situation? We'll make it quick. I still expect the Spurs to be towards the bottom of the standings, and that's purely because there are so many other teams desperate to win games. Those veteran role players that are playing well for the Spurs, while teams like the Lakers will come knocking with draft picks potentially to take them off their hands. That's the kind of thing you're dealing with, but if the Spurs were to somehow win 30 games or so, it's not catastrophic. For starters, the odds of getting Wembanyama are 14%, even if you won 0 games, a 14% chance. Not only that, but if the Spurs were to be really competitive throughout the rest of the season, even trading away their veterans, it would mean that Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell continue playing like this, which would have them trending towards being all-stars over the next few years. Oh yeah, and also, they've got all those picks from Atlanta as well. If the Spurs' biggest issue is Devin and Keldon are so good at 23 and 22 that they won't allow the Spurs to tank, is that really a huge issue? But anyways, enough about the tanking situation. Can we talk about the team's leading scorer? Because I just mentioned him, and Keldon's 21 points a game might come as a surprise to some, but the reality is, this goes back to the end of last year, in which he averaged over 20 points a game for the last 20 games of the season. And without DeJounte, he's only continued to score at a great rate. But what I've been really impressed with in particular over the 2 games against Minnesota is his in-between game, because we all know Keldon's more than capable of shooting threes on good volume and a good percentage. We also know he can use his size and strength to get downhill, he can cut to the rim, he can finish on players, he can do all of that. But that mid-range game allowing him to mix it up against the likes of Gobert and drop coverage when you can't just go to the rim every single possession is what's going to make him a consistent 20 plus point per game scorer, and it's what should give Spurs fans hope this scoring improvement is sustainable for years to come. Now, I kind of feel like I should talk about Josh Primo, but at the time of recording, we have absolutely no idea what's going on with that situation. I thought his start to the season was okay in the sense that shot making wise, yeah, he wasn't making many shots, but in terms of his playmaking, he showed glimpses and he was still very young. We'll find out more at a later date, I guess. That's all I can really say. But there's one more player we need to talk about, because if this is his last season in San Antonio, the improvement Jakob Poeltl has made from when he first arrived to now shouldn't be overlooked. This is someone who was averaging 16 minutes a game when he got to San Antonio, and now he's averaging 16 and 10. 16 and 10 to go along with 4 assists a night, playing some great defense. This is someone that if his timeline just aligned a little bit better, would be an absolute core piece of this team going forward. If you did make it all the way to the end of the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel for more. Have a great day.